So today we have writing, and we are finally in our writing task 2. We are going to talk about the topics that ask about advantages and disadvantages of something that is given. Okay, so for this kind of question, there will be a question like, experts believe that over the next decade, robots will be doing many of the jobs currently done by humans. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this. And again, as you remember, the task 2 is 250 words, and you have 40 minutes for that. So remember that. And so this one is, and here it asks about discuss the advantages and disadvantages. So you have to write about both points, the good points and the bad points. There will be different words such as what are the benefits and drawbacks of this, or what are the positive or negative points of this. So when you have this kind of question, you know that it is about advantages and disadvantages, and you go through these structures. So there should be 4 paragraphs. In the first paragraph, which is introduction, you will have to paraphrase the question. So the question in here, for example, says expert believes that all, so all this question, and then you just paraphrase that. And then you write your own idea. That this is a statement. In this statement, you state your opinion that the advantages are stronger. So in here, if it's only if you agree with advantages, but if you don't agree with advantages, and in the question also, if it asks that what are the advantages and disadvantages, it doesn't really ask you to say your own idea, right? If it doesn't ask you, you can just, in the thesis statement, you write what is the advantage and what is the disadvantages of this. It's for like one sentence should be the advantages, and the other one should be the disadvantages, a summary of that. And then in the main body, you state your opinion on why you think that there are advantages. So about the advantages, you talk in the main body, but try to choose, for example, 1 point or 2 point, but something that you can explain and give a lot of information about it and give an example. So you don't have to write a lot of information, like a lot of points, but you can only write 1 point, but you have to be able to support your point. So in here, it says that your own opinion and why do you think it is like that, and then explain your opinion. Why do you think that disadvantages are there? Like, how do these advantages work? And then give a specific example to support that. The example is really important. You give it to, it really makes your essay longer and it makes your point more understandable. And then in the main body too, if in the first one you talk about advantages, and the second one you talk about disadvantages. And you explain the disadvantages and then give a specific example. This structure, because it's for when you agree with advantages, which is a different type of question. So it says that you give example, but then refer back to the advantages. But and if it's talk about advantages and disadvantages, you just give an example for disadvantages. And then for conclusion, you refer to the disadvantages, and then you again talk about, okay, so in the conclusion in this type, you just talk about introduction again, and then like the same way that you write the introduction. So you write your thesis statement, but in different way. You talk about the main body first and second, like the advantages and disadvantages in 2 or 3 sentences, and then end your essay. But in this structure, the one that is here, the question will be, please write if the advantages outweighs disadvantages, like, right, if there are more advantages than disadvantages, or the advantages are better than disadvantages, then you write the both advantages and disadvantages, but then show that you agree with the advantages. So in this point, in this type of essay, your introduction should be about 40 to 50 words, and then the body paragraph should be about 70 to 80 words. Of course, they can be less or more, but like less than 70 doesn't really look good as a paragraph. And then your body paragraph shouldn't be very different in number of words, so like a little bit different, but you should try to write about the same number of words. So the second one also about 70 to 80 words, and the conclusion again should be about 40 to 50 words. So the exercise 8 says, read the task and simple essay and complete it with linking words from the box. Words can be used more than once. So these are just some linking words. They really help to write your essay and to connect sentences or paragraphs with each other. So there are also, consequently, for example, furthermore, however, whilst, in conclusion, in contrast, therefore. So these are some helpful linking words that you can use in your writing. So here, this is a sample essay for the topic that says, experts believe that over the next decade, robots will be doing many of the jobs currently done by humans. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this. This essay is written for that. So I would ask you to write the essay, like first introduction, and then one of the body paragraphs, like the first one or the second one, the advantages or disadvantages, and then the conclusion. And then we will go through this example. So you have a practice of what what has to be done in here. So please start writing in the chat. And as you know, for the first paragraph, you are writing the paraphrases of the question. So just write the question, but in a different way. You have 2 minutes. Okay, time is over. Muhammad, I don't see anything from you yet. Can you write it in the chat? So experts believe the next 10 years beyond. Are you continuing this? Okay, please faster. In 2 minutes, you should be able to paraphrase this one. So let's go to our own writing. We will see how it has paragraphs and then paraphrased, and then we will come back for the next sentence. So don't worry about this right now. So our own paraphrasing says, in the future, experts predict that robots will be doing many of the tasks currently done by humans. So this is simple, very simple, and then you just paraphrase this one. So that's done, but the next one should be thesis statement. I will give you more time. I will just give you 30 seconds first. Actually, I will give you 2 minutes first to decide what advantages and what disadvantages do you think this has, that robots are doing many of the jobs that humans do. And then after that, I will give you a few minutes to write that. So just one advantage and one disadvantage. You have 2 minutes. Okay, your time is over, and now you have 3 minutes to write what are those advantages and disadvantages that you think. It's just like one sentence. I think that the advantage is this, and that one, the disadvantage is this. So 3 minutes. Do you have a question before that, Muhammad? Okay, in 3 minutes, don't write just like the first of sentence. I don't want your idea only, right? Write the way you would write an essay, like there are few advantages and disadvantages, but most important, like the advantage is this and that disadvantage is this, like an essay. So you have 2 minutes. Okay, Muhammad, your time is over. Great, thank you. So robots can do good jobs sometimes. There are some advantages that robots act quite smoothly. However, there are many disadvantages that the robots can do better than humans, like thinking of new ideas. Cannot do better than humans. Great. This is a great sentence. So let's see here what they wrote. So the first one is consequently, there will be many advantages and disadvantages for society. In this essay, I will discuss both the positive and negative aspects of the development. So this essay didn't really talk about like exactly what advantage or the disadvantages. You can write it this way, or you can also, in the first sentence, you can say that what is the advantage or disadvantage. For example, in here, the advantage, it says the biggest advantage robots will bring to the workplace is their ability to work quickly and accurately. And then the disadvantage is that there are many disadvantages to robots entering the workplace. The most significant disadvantage is that that many humans can be left unemployed. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so let's go and write about one of them. So do you want to write about advantages or disadvantages? We will just write one of the paragraphs because the second paragraph will work this way too. Do you want to talk about advantages or disadvantages, Muhammad? Okay, so for that one, the structure will be that you state your opinion on why you think there are advantages. So you say, why do you think these advantages are there? Like, how do they work? And then explain why you hold that view. You should also explain why you think that way. And then give a specific example to support this. So you just give an example for that. Okay, so go ahead and write about disadvantages, please. You have 4 minutes. Yeah, that's fine. I know you can't unmute yourself. You can just write it. Okay, so it will be just stating your own opinion. Why do you think there are these disadvantages? And then you explain that idea and why do you think that it is this way, and then give an example. Okay, I unmuted you. You can talk if you have any questions.
Okay, talk about the disadvantages of the rewards. To talk about the disadvantage of this. So, you know, when the robots come to the workplace.
Sorry, Muhammad, you will have to write it, right? Because it's writing.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You have few seconds. Okay, so thank you, Muhammad. The major disadvantage is that the robot do best and completely accurate than human, which is why it brings more unemployed worker in the workplace. So you didn't have to write about what was said in the writing. I asked you to write about the disadvantages that you said, right? You said that the disadvantage you said is that the robots can not do better than human, like thinking of new ideas. So you could write about that one, but this one is also okay. That's fine. Okay, so let's go through this essay and learn how it writes so we can learn better. So the biggest advantage robots will bring to the workplace is their ability to work quickly and accurately. Furthermore, or also, they don't need to take breaks or have holidays. This would therefore mean that having a robot worker would be much more economical than employing a human. Another great advantage of the using robot is that workplaces that they can perform tasks that are thought to be dangerous. For example, working on busy roads or underground. So here is the example, like it gives the reasons and then gives the example that on what kind of works that are dangerous they can work. For example, they can work on busy roads or underground. They can also do the jobs humans don't want to do, such as cleaning the house or dealing with rubbish. So these are the advantages of the robots. And then, however, there are also many disadvantages to robots entering the workplace. The most significant disadvantage is that many humans would be left unemployed. Furthermore, if a robot was to stop working, this could cause major problems for a company which really relied heavily on the technology. A robot which isn't working properly could also be very dangerous in some cases. The cost of maintaining these robots could also be very expensive. In conclusion, so these are the disadvantages, right? And this essay has talked about two advantages and two disadvantages. You can do that, or also just talk about one and then write more information about why do you think that's true and also the example. But this one gives two advantages and two disadvantages. Just be careful that when you're writing the advantages and disadvantages, don't write too much about advantages and less about disadvantages. As much you write about one, do the same for the second one as well. So here is the conclusion. We'll go through the conclusion in here because we are out of time. So in conclusion, as can be seen from the points made in this essay, there are both advantages and disadvantages to having robots enter the workplace. Whilst 10, whilst there are many advantages to this, a significant negative impact would be the loss of jobs for humans. If managed in the right way, however, I feel that overall the advantages would outweigh the disadvantages. For this one, the question is, does the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? But if you're writing about both points, you can just write that like that the advantages are that, for example, the robots work quickly and then they can perform dangerous tasks, but the disadvantage are unemployment and how expensive they are. So that's it. Do you have any questions, Mohammed? Okay, we are out of time actually, so thank you for coming.